My name is Eve Purdy, and I am a medical student at Queen's University. This past week, I was asked to be a student panelist at the celebration of teaching, learning, and scholarship for faculty at the Faculty of Health Sciences at Queen's University. As student panelists, we were asked to outline some of the ways that we are learning beyond the classroom. Now, I couldn't help but jump at the opportunity to outline my experiences with social media and how I'm learning beyond the classroom in this new and exciting environment. The reality is, online communities are shaping the way that I learn. They are shaping the way that I learn cardiology. They're shaping the way that I learn nephrology. And they're shaping the way that I learn all of the other ologies, actually. They're also shaping my growth not only in the domain of medical expert, but as a professional in all senses of the word. So I really wanted to get the point across that social media encourages me to do three things. And I hope that we can all agree that these three things are an important aspect of being a professional. So first off, social media is teaching me how to ask questions. It inspires curiosity, and it challenges what I know, and it challenges me to think about what all of my professors have taught me. It instills a healthy dose of skepticism. Next, social media is teaching me to find answers, and it actually often provides answers to questions that I did not know that I had. And finally, social media is encouraging me to be, or hopefully a little bit more accurately, to stay nice. It is collaborative, it's interprofessional, and it removes many of the barriers and hierarchies that have historically governed health professional education. Now, I want to go through and explore each of these three aspects of how social media is impacting my learning through two examples. The first example is related to core content and medical knowledge. So there's this process of clinical reasoning, which looks a lot like this complicated cogwheel picture here. Now, for our professors, this process comes easily, but for medical students, really, this whole process seems more like a big black box. It's hard for us to figure out exactly how to get a patient from presentation to diagnosis and then on to plan for caring for them. So I was interested in learning more about this process while I was going along and learning about individual specific diseases in class. So the first thing that I did was ask the question. In about 30 seconds, I got a reply with the link to a massive open online course starting in 2 days on the subject. Now, this course was designed specifically for medical students by the Vice Dean of Education at UCSF. It happened to be starting days later, so I quickly signed up. So throughout the course of this 6-week interactive intensive course, I found some answers to my questions about clinical reasoning, including this elegant four-pillared approach to learning about diseases in a way that makes them easy to come back to when you're going through the clinical reasoning process. So I use this approach throughout pre-clerkship, and I anticipate that it will serve me well on the wards next year when I'm learning there as well. So in addition to learning certain very specific tools to use in clinical reasoning, I also gained a more realistic appreciation of just how much there is to learn about this whole field. It has made me very excited about what is to come, and I'm looking forward to becoming a better clinical reasoner. Now, remember, social media also encourages us to be nice. So instead of keeping my experience with this course to myself, I decided to share it with whoever I could. So what does that look like in this case? It looks like a number of blog posts outlining some of the key learning points so that those who didn't take the course might benefit as well. It looks like taking the learning back to my peers and teachers in Kingston and around the world to challenge us to be better and to challenge the way that we do things. So the second example is less related to medical knowledge and more related to reflections about my experience as a medical student and development into physician. I was out at the Canadian Association of Emergency Physicians conference in Vancouver last week, and I took a look at my Twitter feed, and this time it wasn't me asking the questions, but a few of my social media savvy professors. Doctors Van Wylik, Gibson, Brown, Sylvester, and a few others were challenging and questioning the value and purpose of medical student attendance at conferences. I felt the need to find an answer. But this time, no link to an online course made its way to me. This time I had to look at myself to find those answers. Why was I out in Vancouver at this conference? What was I really doing? So I took a bit of time to reflect on it. I dove into the almost non-existent literature on the subject. And I wrote a post to outline the benefits and drawbacks of medical student attendance at conferences. It's generated a fair bit of discussion since then and has even been cross-posted on one of the larger medical education blogs. So at the end of the day, my experience with social media is really about three things, and you know what they are by now: asking questions, finding answers, and being nice. So I'd just like to leave us with a quote today. It goes like this: "The higher education so much needed today is not given in the school, it is not bought in the marketplace, but it has to be wrought out in each one of us for himself. It is the silent influence of character on character." Now, if the author of this quote were around today, I'd like to think that William Osler would have been into social media. I think he would have been a fan of asking questions, finding answers, and being nice. He would be excited about the ways that teachers these days are teaching beyond the classroom in the way that students are learning beyond the classroom.